Hey y'all, it's Megan from Honey Badger Cosplay, and today I want to talk to you about some things that I liked, some potential areas of improvement, and my overall experience from Anime Onsen 2024 in Colorado Springs. Let's hop right into it. Anime Onsen is run by Phantom Events, which is an event management company. They have run several other cons such as Anime Texas, Anime New Mexico, OkiCon, and Ichi Expo. Overall, my general impressions of the convention is that it was a good time. It was real small con vibes, kind of like a more local con that you might see. So it's a much more intimate experience than, say, some of your bigger cons. I would definitely classify this as a local convention. So kind of the way I like to describe them is typically local, small, medium, large, and then way too big. So for this one, I would definitely call it a small local con, which definitely has some benefits. First of all the staff was very friendly and kind. All the volunteers were fantastic, and I felt that they had an adequate sized dealer's room. That's where you would find a whole bunch of different merch, as well as where the guests were. I also really enjoyed a lot of the programming that they had. I appreciated that there was a fair amount of adult programming, which I thought was pretty cool, honestly. There is also some pretty cool things like a whole bunch of anime cars, which I had never seen at a con before, so I thought that was a cool and new experience. Luckily, my areas for improvement aren't actually that large. I was pretty happy with the overall convention experience, but one thing I would say that was pretty disappointing was that I didn't get a normal badge like I'm used to getting with a full weekend ticket. Instead, they gave me one of those paper adhesive wristbands for entry. And when I had asked if that was my pass for the whole weekend, they said yes, and if I needed to take it off to shower, to just bring it back in ripped up or any other form, and they would issue me a new one the next day. I will say there should be no if for showering. Please shower every day and don't contribute to the stereotype of this stinky anime person. Another area that was difficult was the artist alley was very cramped. It was held in the hallway that led to the dealer's room and where some of the panel rooms were, which was the main entrance to the rest of the con. I was in my Hornet cosplay, which unfortunately the helmet has some visibility limitations, and I had to go very slow to make it through without bumping into others or into one of the artist alley booths. In the future, I would really like to see a bigger artist alley so that more amazing artists can have a spot and hopefully improve the traffic flow. For my personal experience of the con, I was in cosplay for both Friday and Saturday. On Friday, I was in my Hornet cosplay, and on Saturday, I was in Cassandra. While this was one of the smallest cons that I've been to, it was a great con to get reacclimated to the convention scene since it's been several years since I've been to a convention in person. The last con that I went to was Crunchyroll Expo pre-COVID, so it's been a while. I was also able to actually go to some of the panels, which was not the norm for me since I was in cosplay. Usually the lines are too long to get into panels, or there are too many people in there for me to be able to get a spot without being in the way of other con goers. I was very happy that I didn't have that issue at this con. And I got some cool swag to show you guys. Okay, so I'm not a huge merch person. I don't typically buy a whole bunch of actual stuff at a convention. For one, I'm typically in cosplay, so if I did buy anything, either I need to hand it to my handler or I have to take it all the way back to either my car or my hotel room, and that's not typically something that I'm interested in. But I'm actually going to show you guys some of the cool things that I got. There were these really neat trading cards, and I am going to show you guys like a kind of a close-up, but here's some of the ones that I got. You might see a theme here. So these really caught my eye in the dealer's room itself that was being manned by the wonderful Cheesecake Panda through these. So I really wanted to get one for each of my costumes that I am working on or that I have already done. Of course, I was kind of sad, and this is another great reason why I was really sad that I didn't get a badge of any sort, because I was able to get one of these really cute ribbons that I could have put on a badge. And I know I've started seeing these mostly at things like Dragon Con, which I haven't actually been to yet, but would always see people post their badges up after the con, and they're kind of like little achievements, and I think these are really fun. I think it adds a fun extra thing to do at a con, so kudos to booths that do that. I really like that. So on Saturday, I did end up entering the cosplay contest in my Cassandra cosplay. So speaking from a cosplayer's perspective, I would say that I was very impressed that it was like even though this was a small con, it was like a legit cosplay contest, complete with pre-judging and experienced and talented cosplayers for the judges. I cannot tell you how disappointing it is to sort of work super hard, especially on the craftsmanship of your cosplay, and then you show up and they don't have any sort of prejudging. Any convention organizer listening to this for whatever reason, please, prejudging should be mandatory for craftsmanship style cosplay contests. It lends so much credibility to your actual contest itself, and I was very fortunate to get second in the Masters category at Anime Onsen. Now, I will say that for this particular convention, they did have some rules specifying if you had won any contest before, you were automatically entered into the Masters category. So personally, I think I'm still more in the intermediate category, vice the Masters, but that was cool. Very much enjoyed that. From a cosplayer's perspective, I would like to see some steps for the stage next year. So backstage, there was this little curtained off section, and when it was your time to come up and do your walk-on, you would go behind the little curtain, and then there was this really big step up in order to get onto the stage itself. The stage, of course, is one of those are on like small little stilts. Not the sturdiest thing in the world. That big step definitely made me feel really shaky getting up on there. Granted, I can't blame anybody but myself. I was in heels, but coming off of that, I think that it would be definitely nicer to have stairs going up. Even a step or two would certainly make things much easier getting safely on and off the stage. That's all I have to talk about for Anime Onsen 2024. Overall, great con, small con vibes, which I'm totally down with. Not everything needs to be Anime Expo, even Anime Expo. Until next time, happy crafting.